The California sun beat down on Rodeo Drive as Judy Sandler, a woman in her 70s with kind eyes and a warm smile, walked confidently toward the gleaming Ferrari showroom. Her modest floral dress and comfortable walking shoes stood in stark contrast to the luxury brands and polished appearances that dominated Beverly Hills' most famous shopping district. Inside the dealership, the air conditioning provided a refreshing escape from the summer heat. Italian marble floors reflected the showroom's dramatic lighting, which highlighted the curves of each vehicle with theatrical precision. A red F8 Tributo caught Judy's eye, its sleek silhouette reminiscent of the toy cars her son Adam had collected. As a child, "Excuse me," she said to a young salesman in an impeccably tailored suit who had been watching her with thinly veiled skepticism since she entered. "My son's birthday is coming up, and I'd like some information about that red one." The salesman, Brandon, raised an eyebrow and glanced at his colleague. "The F8 Tributo starts at $276,000, ma'am," he said with a dismissive tone, emphasizing the price tag as if it were a barrier she couldn't possibly overcome. "I'm aware of the price range," Judy replied calmly. Adam has always loved Ferrari. He had posters all over his bedroom as a kid. Brandon's expression shifted slightly at the mention of the name Adam. "And your son is Adam Sandler," she replied simply without pretension. Brandon's colleague whispered something in his ear, and his demeanor instantly transformed from dismissive to doubtful. His eyes narrowed as he looked Judy up and down. "Right. Adam Sandler," he said with undisguised sarcasm. "And I'm Brad Pitt's father. Look, ma'am, we get this all the time. People claiming to be related to celebrities. I assure you, I'm just looking for information." "Yes," Brandon interrupted, "but we cater to serious buyers. Perhaps there's another dealership that might be better suited to your budget constraints." Two security guards appeared, summoned discreetly by another staff member. The showroom had grown quiet with other potential customers watching the scene unfold. "I think it's time for you to leave," Brandon said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "But I haven't even—" "Ma'am, please don't make this difficult," one of the security guards said, gesturing toward the door. Judy's face flushed with embarrassment. "I'm not trying to cause trouble. I just wanted to look at a car for my son." As the guards escorted her toward the exit, Judy held her head high, despite the humiliation burning in her chest. Through the glass doors, she could see passers-by slowing to watch, some taking out their phones to record the scene. "And please," Brandon called after her with a condescending smile, "give our regards to Adam Sandler." Laughter rippled through the showroom as the door closed behind her. Judy stood on the sidewalk, her hands trembling slightly. She took a deep breath, straightened her dress, and walked away with as much dignity as she could muster. She didn't notice the young woman who had been recording the entire incident from across the street, or how quickly the video was already being uploaded to social media. By the time Judy reached her modest hotel room and called her son, the video had already begun its viral journey across the internet. Adam Sandler was in the middle of reviewing a script when his phone buzzed with his mother's ringtone. He smiled, setting aside the papers scattered across his desk in his home office. "Hey, Mom, how's your day going?" he asked, leaning back in his chair. The momentary silence on the other end of the line told him something was wrong. "Mom?" "Oh, it's nothing really," Judy said, her voice carrying a forced lightness that Adam immediately recognized. "I just had a little misunderstanding at a store." Adam sat up straighter. "What kind of misunderstanding?" Judy sighed. "I was looking at a car for your birthday, at that Ferrari place on Rodeo Drive. They didn't believe I was your mother." "What happened?" Adam's tone shifted, concern evident in his voice. As Judy recounted the humiliating experience, trying to downplay the security guards and the mocking laughter, Adam's expression darkened. His mother had always been his rock, the woman who had supported his comedy dreams when no one else believed in him, who had sat through his amateur stand-up sets in nearly empty clubs, who had encouraged him after every rejection. They escorted. "You out? In front of everyone?" Adam asked, his free hand clenching into a fist. "It's not a big deal, Adam, really. These things happen." "No, Mom, they don't just happen. Not to you. Not like that." Adam's phone beeped with an incoming message, then another, and another. He put his mother on speaker and opened the first text, which contained a link to a video that was rapidly circulating online. The caption read, "Ferrari Beverly Hills throws out Adam Sandler's mom, next a disrespect celebrity." As he watched the footage of his mother being escorted out of the dealership, her dignity intact despite the humiliation, something shifted inside him. The comments below the video were divided, some mocking his mother, others expressing outrage at her treatment. "Adam, are you still there?" Judy's voice pulled him back. "Yeah, Mum, I'm here." He paused, taking a deep breath. "Listen, where are you staying again?" "The Westfield Hotel on Olympic. But Adam, please don't make a scene. I don't want any trouble." "No scenes, Mom. Promise." Adam's voice was calm now, determined. "I'll see you for dinner tonight, okay? That little Italian place you like on 3rd Street, 7 o'clock. After hanging up, Adam sat in silence for a moment. Then he made 3 calls in quick succession. The first to his assistant, the second to his friend and fellow comedian Kevin James, and the third to his financial advisor. By the time he left his house that afternoon, the video of his mother had been viewed over 2 million times, and the Ferrari dealership's social media accounts were being flooded with comments from Sandler fans expressing their disappointment and anger. Adam wasn't planning a scene, as he'd promised his mother. He was planning something much more meaningful. The following morning, Adam sat across from Kevin James at a quiet corner table in their favorite breakfast spot in Studio City. The two comedians had been friends for decades, their bond forged through shared experiences in the often brutal world of entertainment. "So you saw the video?" Adam asked, poking at his scrambled eggs. Kevin nodded, his expression serious. "Everyone's seen it, man. It's everywhere. That dealer has no idea what's coming. I don't want to go scorched earth on them, Kev. That's not gonna help anyone." "Then what are you thinking?" Kevin leaned forward, curious. Adam took a sip of his coffee and outlined his plan. It wasn't about revenge. It was about something more profound, more impactful. By the time their breakfast plates were cleared, Kevin was fully on board. "This is gonna be good," Kevin said with a grin. "Count me in." Later that day, Adam met with his legal team to set things in motion. He didn't want to file a lawsuit or demand an apology from the Ferrari dealership. Instead, he purchased a vacant storefront just 2 blocks away from the Ferrari showroom on Rodeo Drive. A prime piece of real estate that had been sitting empty for months due to its astronomical rent. Within a week, construction crews were working around the clock to transform the space. The windows were covered with large black panels, fueling speculation about what new luxury brand might be moving in. Rumors swirled through Beverly Hills, but Adam's team maintained absolute secrecy about the project. Meanwhile, the Ferrari dealership was dealing with the fallout from the viral video. Their Yelp and Google ratings had plummeted, and several high-profile clients had quietly cancelled their orders. The manager had issued a formal apology to Judy Sandler, which she graciously accepted, but the damage to their reputation was substantial. 3 weeks after the incident, mysterious invitations began arriving at the homes of various celebrities, community leaders, and media personalities. The simple black cards read, "You are invited to the grand opening of Respect, a new concept on Rodeo Drive, hosted by Adam Sandler." The date was set for exactly 1 month after Judy's humiliating experience. On social media, Adam posted a simple message. Sometimes lessons come from unexpected places. Join me next Friday to experience something new on Rodeo Drive. Respect. The hashtag quickly became trending, with fans speculating wildly about what Adam was planning. Some thought it was promotion for a new movie. Others believed it might be a comedy club or restaurant. The truth was far more meaningful than anyone had guessed. The night before the grand opening, Adam took his mother to see the completed space. As they stood before the covered windows, he squeezed her hand. "Mom, remember how you always told me that when someone treats you badly, the best revenge is to do something good?" Judy nodded, curiosity and pride mingling in her expression. "Well, I listened." Adam reached forward and pulled aside a section of the black covering, revealing a glimpse of what lay inside. Judy gasped, her hand flying to her mouth as tears filled her eyes. The morning of the grand opening arrived with perfect California weather and a crowd that stretched around the block. Celebrities mingled with regular fans, all curious about what Adam Sandler had created in response to his mother's public humiliation. At exactly noon, Adam appeared before the crowd with Judy by his side. Several of his famous friends stood nearby. Kevin James, Jennifer Aniston, Drew Barrymore, and Chris Rock among them. Camera flashes popped as Adam approached the microphone set up in front of the still-covered storefront. "Thanks for coming, everyone," he began with his characteristic, casual warmth. "A month ago, my mom went into a fancy car store to look at a birthday present for me, and she was treated like she didn't belong there." He glanced at his mother, who smiled back at him with quiet strength. "Now, I could have gotten mad. I could have made a scene. That's what they probably expected." Adam paused, looking out at the gathered crowd. "But my mum taught me something better. She taught me that when someone shows you who they are, you show them who you could be." With a nod to his team, the black panels covering the storefront were removed, revealing a sign that read, "Respect, Community Auto Workshop and Training Center." "This isn't a car dealership," Adam continued as murmurs rippled through the crowd. "It's a place where kids from underserved neighborhoods throughout LA can come to learn about auto mechanics, engineering, and design. It's a place where people aren't judged by what they're wearing or how much money they have, but by their passion and their willingness to learn." Inside, revealed through the floor-to-ceiling windows, was a state-of-the-art workshop. Several vintage cars in various stages of restoration sat alongside modern vehicles. Workstations equipped with tools and technology lined the walls, and a classroom space occupied the rear of the building. "Every kid who completes our program will receive a scholarship toward technical school or college," Adam explained. "And our first class starts next week, with 20 students already enrolled." Judy stepped forward to the microphone, her voice steady despite her emotion. "When I was escorted out of that store, I felt invisible, like I didn't matter. No one should feel that way, especially not young people with dreams." The crowd erupted in applause as Adam and Judy cut the ribbon across the entrance. Inside, visitors discovered that Adam had partnered with several auto manufacturers, including Ferrari's competitors like Lamborghini, Aston Martin, and Tesla, to provide internship opportunities for program graduates. The manager of the Ferrari dealership down the street watched the proceedings from a distance, the magnitude of his staff's misjudgment now painfully apparent. Later that afternoon, he would send a formal letter to Adam and Judy, offering not just another apology, but a substantial donation to the Respect Center's scholarship fund. As the day progressed, Adam gave tours of the facility alongside the team of experienced mechanics and engineers he had hired to run the program. Most were from working-class backgrounds, people who had found success through their skills rather than privilege. By day's end, the Respect Center had secured enough additional donations and corporate partnerships to guarantee its operation for at least 5 years. What had begun as a response to an insult had transformed into a genuine opportunity for positive change. That evening, as Adam and Judy shared a quiet dinner away from the media frenzy, she reached across the table and squeezed his hand. "You always did know how to make a point," she said with a smile. Adam laughed. "I learned from the best, Mom. I learned from the best." 6 months after the grand opening of Respect, Adam Sandler sat in the observation area above the workshop floor, watching as the first class of students prepared for their certification exams. The center had already exceeded all expectations, with corporate sponsors lining up to support the program and a waiting list of applicants that stretched into the hundreds. Maria Gonzalez, a 17-year-old from East Los Angeles who had never considered a career in automotive engineering before joining the program, was currently explaining the electric engine modifications she had designed to improve efficiency. Her confidence and expertise were remarkable, especially considering she had nearly dropped out of high school before finding her way to Respect. "She's got a full scholarship to Caltech," said Kevin Winters, the center's director, as he joined Adam in the observation area. "4 other students have job offers already. Your mum's been mentoring them on interview skills." Adam smiled at the mention of his mother. Since the center's opening, Judy had become a regular presence there, not as Adam Sandler's mom, but as a valued volunteer who brought homemade cookies and practical life advice in equal measure. The story of Respect had spread far beyond Los Angeles. 3 other cities had reached out about establishing similar programs, and a documentary filmmaker was currently following several students through their journey at the center. What had begun as one man's response to his mother's humiliation had evolved into a movement about dignity, opportunity, and the power of constructive responses to negativity. "Oh, and you'll like this," Kevin added, sliding a tablet toward Adam. "The Ferrari dealership filed for bankruptcy last month. Turns out that video was just the tip of the iceberg. Several former employees came forward about the toxic culture there." Adam took in the news with a thoughtful nod. "That wasn't the goal, you know." "I know," Kevin replied, "but actions have consequences." Later that afternoon, Adam found his mother in the center's small kitchen, arranging cookies on a platter for the students' afternoon break. "Maria's presentation was amazing," he said, stealing a warm chocolate chip cookie. "She reminded me of you, actually. Same determination." Judy smiled, swatting his hand away from a second cookie. "That girl's going to change the world someday. All she needed was for someone to take her seriously." The parallels weren't lost on either of them. In a strange way, that humiliating moment in the Ferrari showroom had created a ripple effect that was now changing lives, not through anger or retribution, but through the simple yet powerful act of showing respect where others had shown contempt. Outside the kitchen windows, the California sun illuminated the workshop floor, where students were gathered around various projects. There was laughter, focused discussion, and the unmistakable energy of people who had found their purpose. "You know," Adam said, watching the scene below, "when that video first went viral, I was so angry I could barely think straight. All I wanted was to make those people feel as small as they made you feel." Judy nodded, understanding. Anger is always the easiest response. It's what comes after the anger that defines us. A notification pinged on Adam's phone, another media request for an interview about Respect. The center had been featured in major publications, not as a celebrity vanity project, but as a model for community investment and educational innovation. "I've been thinking," Adam said, putting his phone away. "We should expand the program, not just automotive. Maybe add technology, construction, culinary arts. Give more kids those same opportunities." Judy's eyes lit up at the idea. That sounds perfect, and I know just what we should call it. What's that? Beyond, she said with certainty. Because that's what you've done here, Adam. You've gone beyond responding to disrespect. You've created something that stands on its own. As they rejoined the students downstairs, Adam reflected on the journey of the past 6 months. What had begun as one of the most infuriating moments of his life had transformed into one of the most rewarding. The click of cameras near the entrance announced the arrival of a film crew there to interview Maria about her scholarship. Another ripple in what was becoming a wave of positive change. Not bad for an old lady who got kicked out of a car store, huh? Judy whispered to her son with a mischievous smile. Adam laughed and put his arm around her shoulders. Not bad at all, Mom. Not bad at all.